G'day viewers, it's time to talk about the new patch update that's about to be released for Train Sim World 5. Perhaps by the time you read this it'll be released, we shall see. Anyway, patches and updates for Train Sim World 5. As usual, I read this information to improve the accessibility to get it out to more folks like you. So far, since the launch of Train Sim World 5, we've been able to implement a few smaller post-release patches that help us stay on top of key issues from launch and address immediate feedback we're seeing from all of you. September the 17th, the Class 377/2 got suspension and Frankfurt got PIS, Passenger Information Systems. September 18, PlayStation Profile Importation Fix. I have seen a few people still commenting that they still can't do this, but we shall see. September 26th, menu pop-ups, PlayStation and Epic achievements, and PlayStation 5 cursor fixes. First major post-release patch. We've heard that many of you are still struggling with performance issues, basically people on potatoes and Gen 8 consoles. Oh, upgrade please. On TSW5 core routes and at times crashing, which was likely been due to memory usage limits being reached. This is one of our team's top priorities to address, and we've been investigating ways that we can help save memory across all platforms to help reducing the amount of crashes we're seeing, and this first patch will be the first to address some of those changes. Less memory usage is always welcome. I'm just going to add this as a bit of a rant, but the old Gen 8 stuff, I know there's a lot of you, and I do get that it's not always possible to upgrade. It doesn't fit in everyone's budget. But it is holding the game back massively for the Gen 9 and PC players. It really is. Anyway, moving on. These improvements are almost ready to send out to you all, and outside of the optimizations mentioned above to help improve your experiences, it will also include sweeping changes for all of TSW5 core content, adding key fixes for community-raised issues and additional fixes to other routes, including Bremen-Oldenburg, Niddelsalban and Rosenheim. West Coast Main Line. Euston lighting changes, added overhead line equipment outside of Milton Keynes, Bletchley Station texture fix, Watford Junction signage updated, improvements to stop passenger clumping in stations and getting clogged on stairs and passengerways, Class 350 headlights no longer stay on when deactivated in the cab, Class 350 added track joint sounds, updated gangway door audio and removed clicking sounds in fans. Frankfurt Fulda fixed the BR114 brakes not working correctly, fixed a gap in the BR411 gangways, updated BR411 digital screens and ensured they tilt with the train. San Bernardino adjusted duration of services and scenarios to ensure they can be completed within time limits, added additional car traffic to some areas, fixed various floating assets found around Covina. I hope that means they updated the time limits rather than shortened the services and scenarios. I hope. Flixtrain BR193 Vectron distributor release valve can now be interacted with. Ooh, exciting. Exterior brake indicators now display as expected. Hose pipes of the Talbot coaches are now connected at the gangway. Brakes no longer release by themselves if the cab is deactivated. Well, that's handy. I had one roll away a couple of times. Funny, but it's not undesirable because they have problems. We're still finalising the patch and compiling the notes. There are many more not listed on the above list which target key issues raised by the community, and you should better expect this coming very soon. I have pinged off some questions to Alex about some stuff that I think we need to see in a patch, stuff that people have told me about, stuff that I've experienced. So stay tuned on that one. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to set a false expectation if they don't come in. Additionally, as a longer-term project, our teams have been working on a wider plan of West Coast Mainline timetable improvements, including adding new services to the route. These timetable changes do not have a timeline for release yet, and when we have more details, we'll let you know. As a note, currently these changes are planned for PC, Xbox X, and PlayStation 5 platforms, so not Gen 8. I think that's Xbox S and X, personally, maybe. Thank you for waiting patiently. We'll work out these updates and implementing community feedback. We'll continue to work on additional improvements to support the launch of Train Sim World 5. Additional messaging clarification. I'll take the chance to talk about some of the messaging from launch that wasn't initially clear and provide an update of where we're at. Track shadow rendering. Firstly, we want to apologise for some of the confusion caused on which routes would see this feature from launch and which routes would have it as part of a future patch. At first, we announced all of this together as a combined list, but we incorrectly communicated that all the routes listed would have it from launch. Our teams are still working hard to implement this feature to the add-ons we initially announced on our August roadmap, but currently this is only applied to the ones shown in the TSW5 track shadow frequently asked questions. I'll pop in a link. Thank you for understanding. We'll keep striving to give you the most accurate information that we can. Xbox Series S layering. Due to performance constraints with the launch of Train Sim World 5, we made changes to the amount of available layers Xbox Series S, and it meant that it differed from the Xbox Series X layers for Train Sim World 5 core routes and caused confusion. We talked about the memory differences between the two consoles on the Xbox S layering thread, and since then we've made optimization improvements to reduce the gap of experience of the two platforms. Currently, Series S players will get all layers from both West Coast Main Line and San Bernardino, but we'll see some adjustments for Frankfurt Fulda which are detailed in the thread above. We apologise again that this wasn't originally clear, and our teams are constantly looking for further improvements to bring more layers to Frankfurt for Series S players, with more coming in a future patch. Community Corner, photo mode showcase, player mode screenshots. We won't go into these because, there's not really good information in here. I'll continue my rant on the consoles. The Series S has got less memory and is less capable than the X. You can't expect total parity between the two. I run an S and an X, and I can see the differences between them. I get it. If you're running an S, you're kind of running a Gen 8.5. It's nearly a Gen 9. It's not really. There's a reason it's only a third of the price of the other one. So you can't really expect all the game manufacturers to have complete parity between the S and the X, because it means the X experience is crap. So the people that paid 3 times more for their console get the same experience that people on the S do. And that's not really fair to the people that paid 3 times more to their console. So if you're on an S, I'd suggest you'd find from all game manufacturers, forget about DTG for a moment, but you'll probably find from all of them that they're no longer going to support the parity across the two of them. Quite a lot, like Bethesda, have made announcements that they're no longer going to do it because it's just too hard, and it means they're holding back the X players. I tend to agree with this stance. Making different versions for the S and the X to me is perfectly acceptable because the S machine just isn't as capable as the X. It's just that simple. It's less memory, less capabilities. It's just life. When you pay a third as much for the console, you've got to expect a third as much out of your games. You really do. Or, consequently, if you paid 3 times and bought the X, you should expect better from the games. It's just fair. Alrighty, rant off. Anyway, that's been the patch update upcoming for Train Sim World 5. As I mentioned, there's a few things that I would have thought would have been in here that I've pinged off to the community manager, Alex. And should the public information change, I will add another video about that information. But for the moment, this is what's available to us, and I'm not going to speculate because I don't want to set any false expectations, especially with that little thing down there in the corner. I don't want to be misrepresenting anything. So this is the information we have to date about the changes that are coming. To me, I think there's probably a few more that we need to see, particularly on San Bernardino, but hopefully they come up. Anyway, that's it for this one. So thank you very much for watching. Please like the video if you do. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And we shall see you soon with more Train Sim World 5 information. All right, have fun, folks. See you later.
We played a game.